Good morning and welcome to the Adidas ROCKSTARS 2017 here at the Porsche Arena in Stuttgart. My name is Liam Lonsdale and I'm delighted to welcome this morning to our Facebook Live studio Sean McColl and Udo Neumann. Morning, guys.
Morning.
Morning.
How's everyone going?
Good. Good.
Very well.
Whole day of qualification yesterday. Today is semifinals, finals, whole bunch of other stuff. Really excited.
What an exciting event yesterday, Udo. Lots of different highlights to talk about.
Yeah, definitely.
And I'm delighted to welcome Udo specifically today because you are going to be doing some special analysis with us.
Yes.
But before we do that, there's a couple of faces, new and old, that I'd like to talk about from yesterday. First of all, Shauna Coxey. Great to have her back.
She's been injured for the last, I guess, 2 Adidas ROCKSTARS, I think.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really amazing to see her here. She climbed really, really well yesterday. I know sometimes she doesn't even give 100% in qualifiers. You know,
she looks so relaxed.
Get it through, and I know she's going to turn it on in semifinals. Make finals and then definitely put on a show.
And Udo, another new face to the circuit would be someone like Kai Leitner.
Yes.
Let's talk about him.
Well, I'm not. I always consider him a bit more of a lead climber, quite frankly. You know, so yes, but I was watching the Innsbruck World Championships, basically everything, and I watched Kai. I was really impressed because the last impression I've got was not a whole lot of high-end bouldering of him, but he definitely improved in this respect.
Very exciting to see what he brings in the semi-finals.
And actually, I had breakfast with Jan this morning, and I think they're the same height, but still Kai has 20 centimeters more span than even Jan.
Jan Hoyer,
I was really amazed to hear this, because when I was watching Innsbruck, there were quite a few like morpho problems, and I was wondering how long are his arms really, or is his span really? But apparently nobody has a wider span than Kai has.
Well, that's a good fact to know.
Yeah.
And certainly Udo is the man
already
with
so
the
tall.
It's hard to tell because you know as soon Jan's arms are bigger. And so you don't know, are they just bigger and appear shorter, or are they really shorter? I find it really difficult to judge anatomy just by looking at people. But Jan told me it's really 20 centimeters.
I asked Kai, he does have a plus 18 on his height. 18 centimeters.
Yeah. Okay. What about, let's talk about Petra Klinglet. Petra's with us. She's made semi-finals, reigning world champion.
Yep.
Sean, what are we expecting to see from Petra?
Definitely, she's super versatile. She can do lead climbing. She's actually really good at speed climbing. Good boulder. Obviously, yes, reigning world champion. I think same thing in semifinals. The problems are going to be a bit harder than qualifiers. We're going to have to see the women really turn it on, and I think it'll be the sixth best in finals.
And speaking of world number ones, we've also got Jong-won Chon here, Udo.
Yeah, I mean, very impressive. Very impressive. And talking about these new faces, I think he won the overall World Cup in 2015. And they had a really difficult start in 2016. Just the same as Tomoa had last year. Tomoa won in 2016 and really had a rough start in 2017. But now he seemed to be aware of that he's number one, and he's like all his last competitions were really, really strong.
Flawless performances.
Yeah. Call that the dip in World Cup.
Yeah.
Always, you know, people come into the World Cup or one of the first ones, there's no expectations. They compete at 100%. And then as soon as they realize, I can win. I could be back on the podium. So putting a bit of pressure on themselves, and then there's a little bit of a dip. But you know, they just keep at it. They eventually come back to the top, and then obviously with Tomoa and Jong-won, they're both at the top once again.
Very excited.
I also see this a little bit as the desire to control things. You know, they both have a very loose and relaxed climbing style, and as soon as you try to bring some control into this style, you're messing with it. You know, you lose what made you so successful. There's a very fine line to walk.
Well, speaking of climbing styles, Udo, analysis is something that you do very well. Obviously, you've worked with the German team over the years and a lot of other athletes to literally very specifically go through moves, climbing styles, route setting, etc. And you're going to do some of that with us and the guys at home this morning on the Facebook Live broadcast. If you are tuning in and you want to know more about this, then this is the time to pay attention. So, Udo, explain what we're going to be looking at.
Yes, first for our first session, I wanted to give you an impression of how I go about it. You know, like what to look for and what are the difficulties. For example, in climbing, you always deal with obstructions. figure skating or gymnastics, you can move the camera freely around. In climbing, you always have to consider that it will be obstructed in one way or the other. So that makes analysis a lot harder compared to the other activities. Things like this, I want to just give you, because yesterday we had a really nice problem number 4 with the men's that had a zillion of different solutions, and I want to look into this.
It's worth saying at this point that if you would like to watch any of yesterday's qualifiers, they are available on the Adidas ROCKSTARS Facebook page. And if you are enjoying these broadcasts and you want to see more behind the scenes and more broadcasts, then make sure you like Adidas ROCKSTARS community on Facebook, and you'll be notified every time we go live. Udo, can we see some of this analysis that we're talking about?
Do you switch into the iPad?
There we go.
Okay. We don't have the... This is the view we are having, right?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so this is the fourth problem.
Okay.
And we do... now, I find it really difficult to just analyze one climber.
Okay.
Because you never know... we have this saying in Germany, the death of the good solution is the better solution. So now you see lots of impressive climbers, but you never know really how good the solution is unless you compare. And so this little app allows you to do just that and do split screens. Really.
So, Sean, who we got there?
So on the left, we have Rustam Gelmanov.
Yeah.
And on the right, we have Jan Hoyer.
Cool. Okay, and so now what are we looking at, Udo?
And even to give a little bit of background on them.
Yeah,
so Rustam is about 168 centimeters, about the same as me. And Jan, Udo said he's about 189 centimeters, 88. So they do have a 20 centimeter difference, which is actually really cool looking at these types of moves, just to see if they do it the exact same or very similar. So Udo's just going to cue this up.
Yeah, this is the first basically decision or thing you have to do. You have to decide what are the things you're looking for. And actually it makes a huge difference for your analysis, what it leads to, how you cue them up, and it leads to really different results, as I show. We have 2 examples, 2 split screens prepared of this boulder problem. And to start with, we should cue them up as soon as the last foot leaves the hold, this volume to the right. And so from now I sync them, I press this middle bar, and now I can move them together. And I still can move the picture like this, and you see that it's an entirely different...
Look at Rustam go. He's already let go.
Rustam is mid-air.
Yeah.
I mean, this reminds me very... Rustam's style is so dynamic in this regard. Of the Quiff, 2016, with that 1, 2, 3 in the final.
Yeah, exactly.
He moved exactly like this.
Yeah, and you also you can see maybe there's that there are always many different potential reasons, so it's really hard to come to a conclusion. But you also see that their orientation towards the wall is entirely different.
Yeah.
Like Rustam jumps off like from of a diving board.
Yeah.
Whereas Jan is still facing.
And Jan is going straight for the double shoulder, and he knows he's going to stop. Where Rustam went for the double clutch, and he's still moving, and he's going to hit the 2.
Yeah.
So 2 similar methods, but at the same time different.
So Sean, one thing that you can offer is an elite athlete's perspective. Obviously, you have won this competition 3 times. When you're looking at this, is that which way would you have read the move, first of all?
I hope I would have read both, and then made a split decision on which
would
one
you
I
have
was chosen. And I think I would have tried it like Rustam.
Okay.
That being said, is because at the end, Jan is now in the position that Rustam basically jumped into.
Yeah.
So if you're going to need to get into that position, and you see that it's possible, as a shorter climber, I usually try to do it that way. And then Jan, being taller, he knew that he could almost reach the first 2 holds, so it was more of like a little jump at the end. And what Jan did is actually much safer. Because if Rustam would have kind of messed up midair, or if his trajectory would have been slightly wrong, he would have fallen. Where Jan, if his trajectory is a little bit wrong, or something is moving a little bit differently, he still sticks the holds because now nothing is moving.
Yeah.
He just needs to control the swing.
Yeah. So there are always many things to consider. I mean, one aspect also, especially with all the young Japanese coming into the game, one thing that used to distinguish Sean, for example, from most of the others is just sheer speed, you know, and that means less time under tension. So that is a huge advantage. And I think, I mean, it's really difficult to tell in bouldering contests, but for lead, for example, this is very essential to move through the positions. And you see that in this solution, Rustam, do it the other way. Rustam arrives really
much quicker,
you know, at the heel hook. If you consider the heel hook as another potential cue. Okay, so I think we should move. So you see, we have a lot of questions already. You know, it's really hard to say. Okay, this was a better method.
One jump.
So I tell you. I show you the last problem of the girls and some. I have to rewind it a little bit.
It's so
because
cool
we were looking at this before. So this is
Stasha Geo.
This is the last problem. And it starts with Stasha trying. Stasha, the root setters, I was watching the root setters since Monday, and they were always mentioning Stasha as as a reference, a little bit like Kai is in these semis, you know, because
Stasha is the tallest female competing
is,
here.
I don't know about Julia Kruder, but somehow because Stasha has won the World Games and
European champs,
European championship, so Stasha was the reference in their mind. So, I mean, this just puts the root setters in a really awkward position. You know, if this would have been successful from Stasha, that the other competitors would have been complaining, and it was just not very nice.
Udo, at this point, I feel it's necessary for me to mention that I did this boulder problem yesterday. I did this boulder problem yesterday.
Ah, cool. Okay, yes. Okay, super.
I witnessed it too.
Yes, sure.
Okay, you have a witness.
There's a video
super.
on Sean's Instagram, in fact.
Okay.
There is. It'll still be up, isn't the story?
I'm so psyched.
Exactly this version or the jump version? Because it slightly adjusted the
same version.
Okay, cool.
You did the jump version.
Okay, cool.
You did, he did like a quad paddle or something.
Oh yeah, I think they changed the right hand hold though between the girls and the jam session. Okay, but never mind. But good job, Liam. Okay, so. No, as after Sasha explored if she can cheat the problem.
So innovative, though. I'd love to see that from the climbers.
Inventive.
But they're all a bunch of cheaters. Really, the better the boulderer is, the more smart. It's almost like an escape artist.
Yeah.
It's a game.
Yeah, it's for sure a game.
Yeah. And I really like this with the sport. So she tries to do the dyno, and we're still looking at the potential problems for analyzing climbing movements. You know, so she doesn't make it, and you see most likely the reason that she doesn't make it is that she swings out. You know? And these handholds you're jumping for, they're not in-cut. They used to be in-cut 10 years ago, and you could pull yourself with just sheer contact strength. You could pull yourself back into the wall, but that's not possible nowadays anymore. So she falls off. But actually, we really cannot tell, you know, because from this point of view, it's impossible to tell what truly was the reason. You know? So you need another point of view to really be able to tell.
And so that's Melanie Sandos.
And this point of view, we will be able to tell.
Exactly. We can tell, or at least we can get a little bit closer what is the reason. And the thing to look for is basically that you see how the contact points in green and her assumed center of mass, how much they are aligned. And this, I'm saying, assumed center of mass because it's most likely outside her body right now because of the swing. But this is not a biomechanically correct analysis, of course. But you see, it's not aligned at all. And for a reference, again, it's really difficult to tell just by observing just one climber. So we take a look at a successful attempt by Shauna Coxey, like this.
And look at the engagement in the bicep as well.
Freeze here, and you see that these two lines are much closer aligned. You know, I put them. usually, do you assume that the center of mass is around a little bit below your belly button? No, it's different, of course, with females and males and so. But so I try to do it as approximated as good as possible from this video footage. No?
But that video footage was really good, and what I noticed there as well was the difference between Stasha and Shauna was that Stasha caught that central volume straight arms.
Yes.
And Shauna was immediately engaged. As soon as she hit it, the biceps engaged.
Yeah. Also, you shorten the leverage. There's one strategy that you can do. So just imagine you're doing this kind of analysis for your climbing movement, and there's still some hints to watch for.
There's Julia Kruder.
If you look, for example, if she falls off like this, and you only have this kind of point of view, and you see somebody falling off like this, you have to assume that the center, again, the same thing, but it was totally off. No, the contact points and the center of mass. So basically, the position she falls off gives it away that that was not the right way. So we have another try, a different solution.
So much tighter in the bicep that time.
Yeah, but then, exactly.
Ooh, that looked like you were going to ghost it. This is good.
No, now we, right.
Both.
I do
overlaid.
This is an overlay of a successful and a not successful attempt. And it's really with the overlay, it's kind of tricky to really see who's
going to make it.
Yeah, exactly. And but you see that already when she jumps off, she's more left below the holes, so that the momentum will be a little bit less. No, and then right now it's really different to distinguish until you see. Like this. Yes. No, that was basically the jump was the important part. How she set up. You know, she's more. Moves her center of gravity further to the left.
Exactly, yeah. When she takes off from those two big footholds, the more you are to the left, the less swing you'll have when you eventually hit the triple paddle.
Yeah. And now we look at another funny thing. Now, the climbers always, everybody is always looking at the hand sequence because the hands are closer to our brain and they're much easier to understand for us and to get feedback from. But actually, in this case, for example, you see that basically her left foot is almost peeling her off the handhold.
Yeah.
And this happens really often if you can't control the axis. I don't know what would be the proper English term for that. In Germany we say you can't control the axis, you know. So we find a better term for this.
Well, Sean, I'm sure you'll agree that was fascinating.
That was really cool.
And actually, now that we know what to look for in climbing analysis, that gives us a really good foundation for looking at those top moves later.
Yes.
So later
we'll
on today, we're going to be looking at the top moves from the semi-finals. Or the qualifiers?
No, at the semis. I will go into the director's room right now, and I will hopefully pick some interesting stuff from there.
And so that pretty much rounds up what we've got to talk about this morning. If you guys have enjoyed that, then don't forget to share this on Facebook, like it on Facebook, show your friends. We're going to be going almost immediately to the live stream of the semi-finals. Sean, McColl and I are going to be commentating over that semi-finals. We're going to have some fun with that because we get to control the broadcast, which is something a little bit different. That'll be in about 10 minutes' time. Until then, big thank you to Udo for showing us that analysis.
Thanks, Udo.
Thanks to Sean again for joining me. And we'll see you later on. Very good morning.
No feeling for